They call me the Don, not saying that I'm a mobster, but lyrically I'll break your kneecaps while eating pasta. Got Ducktown, Atlantic City roots, but my casa and Galloway like Rodney Jerkins and Nookie Johnson. Grandma made meatballs, the only other option was the chip on my shoulder or a plate of Swanson. Grandpa on the porch smoking cigars to Sinatra while I plan to turn our shrimp into some lobster.
All right, hey everybody, how are you? You are back with Tap In with Tom. I'm your host, Tom Benefro Jr., and I've got a special guest here with me today. This is Nick Bruno, owner of Valor Supplements and law enforcement officer.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Good to see you.
Glad to have you on, man.
I know, it's been a minute. Let me go back a little ways.
Listen, me and you, we first met actually at a event in Long Beach Island.
Correct.
And from there, I felt when you talked to me about the Valor 5K, right. I felt I had to be there. So I attended that first year, donated, and felt like year 2 was a must. I brought the whole family out.
You did. You sure did.
And then unfortunately, I missed you this year, but
that's all right.
We're going to get back on track.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I felt like we first met at that event, the LBI Reggae Fest.
That's right.
Right. Got to support my my buddy, the Ned Ryerson band. Right. Just thought about that.
There you go.
Just had plenty of things to talk about.
Yeah.
And then that's where it all started.
That's right. So, that's right. So listen, everybody, I've been wanting my friend on here because I use Valor Supplements product. It's fantastic. And he's got some great codes that you can utilize.
Yeah,
if you're buying from Amazon, I think that you should just take what you're used to purchasing and definitely check out Valor Supplements website. What's the website again?
Yeah, so it's valorsupplements.net.
Okay.
Right. There's a discount code NJCOPS20.
Okay.
With 20% off every product on there. And I can almost guarantee you, if you take that 20% off that product on my website versus something you're currently purchasing on Amazon or your local supplement store, my price will probably beat theirs.
Okay.
Right. And I'm not trying to destroy the local mom and pops. Right. You know, my audience is first responders and military personnel. That's what I like selling to.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason why you should be overpaying for supplements. You know,
Yep.
And there's easy ways to get them through me. Yeah.
We'll get into this more at the end of the podcast, but first I am curious, about your upbringing.
Sure.
And try to touch on, curious how you ended up in law enforcement, as well as what triggered you to start Valor Supplements. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Right. Perfect. So we're saying law enforcement officer, but everyone that's been to a Valor 5K knows that I'm a New Jersey State Trooper. Right. There's no secret there. It's on the website. Not the website, but the Instagram. It's pretty easy to put 2 and 2 together. Right. So prior to becoming a trooper, I was a phys ed teacher. Right. And then, while doing that, I always had like the higher calling per se.
Absolutely.
Right. Like, the monotonous of being a teacher, early on, it just wasn't for me. I didn't see myself doing that for a long period of time. It was rewarding, and I enjoyed coaching and teaching, but deep down, I always wanted to become a New Jersey State Trooper. Okay. I spent a lot of time in high school, racing and being on the water with jet skis, and I always seen the Marine Services Bureau out there, and I was like, you know what, I could be one of these guys on the water.
It's a great gig.
So, and then another topic too, like I have a cousin who's retired from state police now. But I remember when I was in high school, my Uncle Paul had passed away, and we were traveling on the Jersey Turnpike northbound from Toms River, Jersey City to the church. And I'm sitting in the back, and I'm looking north, and in front of me is my mom and my grandma. And, they're sitting there, they're obviously upset. My grandma just lost her son, my mom lost her brother. And then up the left side of the car, driver's side of the vehicle, like here comes a New Jersey State Trooper, right? Lights on, siren blaring, right? And that's my cousin Steven giving us an escort to Jersey City, right? And I see my mom and my grandma just start bawling, right? I'm like, and the impact that troop car, right, and he had on them was like, at that moment, I was like, I want to be a New Jersey Trooper, and then I started from there. Like went to college, got my teaching degree, but all through my teaching time, I was applying for the state police, and I finally got in when I was 29. And I've been doing it for the last 14 years.
It's not easy. 29.
It's not easy. It's not easy to get into the state police. Back when I first started the process, I think there was probably about 8,500 to 10,000 applicants. The numbers have gone down a little bit over the last few years for some reasons, but it's a difficult process. It's hard to get into, and we'll talk about the training later. You want to talk about the training? We'll talk about the 26-week training program and some of the opportunities you have with the state police, which are great. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And so, and what made Valor come to life? Was it something that you had thought about prior to police work?
Right. So like I've always had like the entrepreneurial, mindset.
Did you always
Even
been
growing up,
active in the gym?
always. Like in high school, I was a track athlete. I was a shot put and discus
That was
thrower.
going to be a part of your life.
Fitness was always going to be a part of my
State
life.
Trooper or not, always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like, growing up, like, cutting grass, like being an entrepreneur, selling t-shirts in college,
Yeah.
but then to answer your original question, like how did it start? In 2015, I was assigned to what was called the Metro South unit. It's like a plainclothes narcotics unit.
Okay.
Right. And at times they would pull us from our detail to help out with certain things. And, an unfortunate thing happened December 17th, 2015. Trooper Eli McCarson was killed in line of duty. Right. And me and my squad mate, had been my classmate as well, we're sitting in front of Eli's house, and, this horrible situation. And we're like, dude, would it be awesome if we could just like give, we'd never bring Eli back, but some kind of way we can give money or give something to them. Right. So we're just spitballing in the car. And Tom was a fitness trainer.
Product came after.
Well after.
The product was an afterthought.
Right. But the original thought of it was like, hey, what can we do to make money for this trooper?
Product was just something to pipe, funds to help that troop.
Exactly. Yeah. So then spitballing back and forth, we started LLC. Since then, Tom's like kind of left Valor. He owns like a small percentage.
Okay.
Didn't want to do it anymore, but as a good classmate and a good friend, I'm like, dude, keep a small percentage in case you ever want to come back. Right. So the whole company was started with the idea of, selling supplements, using some of that percentage to give back to law enforcement. And been doing it since 2016. So it's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I highly recommend everyone take time out to consider heading over to the website and also signing up for the Valor 5K. I personally was inspired by it. I don't want to toot your horn too much, but the man does a fantastic speech. It's a show. I mean, it's wonderful. You've got all the new recruits lined up that run the race.
Right. So in certain events, the like local police academies, will get wind of the race, and those cadets or recruits will come and run for their class. Yeah. Right. And then they'll dedicate a fallen officer, which I'll speak about. They'll get permission from that family to speak about them, and then they'll honor their run, for that law enforcement officer, as well as like the troops. Right. So I'll usually talk about a specific, Jersey State Trooper that lost their life in line of duty, reach out to the family, get the blessing, speak about them, and then we'll get after it. And people really seem to like the speech, and they like the dedication, and then the whole thought behind the whole process. Right. It gives the community, or like, just normal everyday citizens, the opportunity to run next to state troopers and local law enforcement, which is awesome to see.
And may I give credit to the township that you're working with? Tell us a little bit about the township you're working with, what that process is like. We talk about this a lot on the show, and it'd be good to hear how events get planned.
Right. Yeah. So for the most part, like Valor Supplements is like a one-man show, right? So there's a lot going on between work and organizing these events. But yeah, so the race is held in Seaside Park, New Jersey. Usually starts at the Sawmill, and the runners or participants head south to 13th in Seaside Park. And then they come back. It takes a few months, with permits and organizing flyovers and getting permission from our command staff.
It's incredible,
and things like that.
Incredible.
It's a lot to do. And then once that speech is over, and the bagpipes play and everyone cries, it's like it's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, really?
Like, oh yeah. It'll start in December, and it'll go through social media posts and just organizing things with which we'll talk about later, the Troopers United Foundation. Which is an amazing foundation, which I've given significant amount of money to over the years, and I enjoyed doing that. And the money goes to a good cause and goes to people that need it, right? So but the Township Seaside Park, they're great. Haven't had any complaints with them.
Are they easy to work with?
They are.
We're hoping to become easier to work with here in Atlantic City area as well.
Yeah, we talked about maybe organizing a race. It's funny.
Talked to a community out here, Absecon, and their community affairs was interested, so maybe we could get that situated.
Absolutely.
Somehow.
And even since I've been doing the 5Ks, people, come to me as if I'm some kind of expert in like organizing these events. Yeah, and I give them the process from A. It's okay. From A to Z, like how to start it and some of the problems and some issues you're going to, face while doing them, and get you through it, and you have some good events,
Well, I was glad to hear that we have some acquaintances, some similar acquaintances.
We do.
Because maybe I can get them involved to put that together in either Absecon or any other town in Atlantic County.
Absolutely.
And so, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the gyms in this area.
Okay.
So, I started off going to Galloway Fitness. It's no longer around.
Okay.
It was, little shop, right? I think they had a Gold's Gym contract, and then they lost that contract or decided not to be a franchisee any longer, right? And that's where a lot of the guys I grew up with, including some of them that you're familiar with, started at. From there, we had Tilton Fitness open up in Galloway, right across the street. Tilton Fitness is now Attilis Gym.
Okay.
And then I'm sure you're familiar with Attilis, and then absolutely Wolf Fitness as well.
Right.
Absecon, Brigantine, and other locations. So hopefully I can get some of those owners involved. Maybe they'll want to be a part of the Valor 5K Atlantic County version.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, Antilles opened up a location right in Silverton, which is Silverton's a subsection of Toms River.
Okay.
So it's only a few miles from my home.
Okay.
Wolf Fitness, one of the owners. I don't work with him directly, but we still wear the same uniform. So I have no problem helping a fellow brother out with some supplements and things like that for sure.
We'd love that.
Absolutely.
So actually back to the brotherhood, what would you say is a factor from that that you take with you every day? I know there's an honor code and core values, but
right.
Talk to me a little bit about the values that it's provided in your life.
Of course. Well, just going through the state police process and going through the academy, they have a unique way of molding, younger, men and women into becoming troopers, right? And specifically teaching you a certain way to carry yourself when on duty, and off, but just the way you carry yourself in the terms of, your physical appearance, mm-hmm. right? And how you speak to the public, how you just speak to people in general. I've to this day, I still find myself saying, yes, sir, no, ma'am, to just people in general. And the minute you say it to someone that, like, oh, yeah, no problem, sir. Like, oh, military? Like, no, state police. Oh, okay. It's just something you those values get ingrained with you during that process, and they'll never leave. Just simple things like making your bed.
That's right.
Right. Like you wake up in the academy and you have to make your bed, right?
The corners have to be perfect.
They have to be perfect, and then there's a book, like I think it's called Make Your Bed by I don't want to mess up, like he's a colonel, like McGraven, right? He's like the Navy SEAL guy. Like if you read a book called Make Your Bed, right? And your whole day starts off with like, basically he says, start your day off with like accomplishing one goal, right? And that's the first thing you do is make your bed, right? So at the end of the day, no matter how crappy your day was, you go home to like a made bed.
That's right.
And the academy, when you go, your room may have gotten tossed at some point in the day. It might not come back made the way you made it, but when they don't mess up your bed, you have a long day of PT and defensive tactics and whatever else you're going through. Like that bed is nice. Like you've had some of the best nights sleeping your entire life in the academy. Like I'll tell you, 100%. Yeah.
Only one pillow though.
That's all you need. That's all you need. The academy.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, that's all you need.
What about the? I want to talk about the driving portion of it, and then combatives.
Like the actual driving, like the techniques and things.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. What's that like? I mean, have you seen that a lot of that training has helped you in the field?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I believe the training is called like EVOC. Okay. EVOC training. It's just typically, how to maneuver around cones and things like that. Okay. And I think I've actually might have taken like remedial EVOC because I think I've cracked like 3 or 4 deer in my career. Not my fault that I hurt a deer one time. In the same spot like 2 weeks later. Like no bullshit. But yeah, the driving is interesting. It's a large part of a junior trooper's roles when they first get on, or that trooper stays on the road for a long considerable amount of time. You're in the car a lot. Yeah. 100%. Defensive tactics, that program has evolved tremendously since I've been there. I know a lot of the guys that teach the course, like I personally roll with at the Academy of Jiu-Jitsu in Toms River, an awesome school. We can get into that too. They have a law enforcement program, which we could tier into like how I want to sponsor a few new cops that are like white belts and know nothing about jiu-jitsu. Okay. But the defensive tactics is huge part of it. Some people in the academy have never been, into a fight in their entire life or in a situation where they're pinned down. Like how do you get out of those things, right? Like that's some realities of the job. Yeah. Right. Like I say all the time, like, and we've heard this too, like when you first get on, you're a trooper one day, right? You might get into a fight your second day with a guy who's been a career criminal his whole life. Right. Like that's that's a big task or a big challenge to take on right away. You know, like this guy's like, you're 15, 20 pounds lighter than what you were going into the academy. And now maybe your second, third day on the job, you know, this guy wants to get it on. And you're like, holy shit, like I better have something in my tool belt to just save myself or protect myself. Right. Yeah. So yeah, but DT is huge. There was boxing when I was in there.
Okay.
Right. They don't really do boxing too much anymore. They do some other more appropriate like techniques for things, you know, safely's kind of away with like striking and things like that.
Jiu-jitsu has been super valuable for me. I mean, even just 1 year of jiu-jitsu, I felt like I learned an incredible amount. Like I felt a lot more confident after 1 year. I still have my white belt.
That's all right. You know? That's all right.
I think they gave me a few stripes.
That's all right. I say, you know, if you pay your money long enough, you'll get stripes, you know, but no, jiu-jitsu's, you know, it's a humbling experience.
It is,
right? You know, we lift weights. We're heavier dudes. We're athletic.
That's right.
And then you get a guy in there 50 pounds lighter who knows what he's doing. He'll pin you down and make you feel like a little kid. You're
his arm will slide right underneath your neck like butter.
Man, it's a humbling experience, but it does teach you to stay calm.
Yeah.
You know, it tells you, you know, not to mess with people with messed up ears.
Spaz.
No.
Spaz. Yeah, you gotta have control.
And even jiu-jitsu too. Like in the world of law enforcement, like it's a stressful job. Right, it is, right? But there's days where you're having a rough day and you go to the gym and you know, you get your ass kicked, or maybe you're the hammer that day, not the nail. Like you feel better, you feel accomplished, right? And by getting yourself better with some kind of self-defense method like jiu-jitsu, it not only makes yourself safe, but it keeps the guys around you safe, right? I remember in times before I was training where, you know, talk about like what the unit I'm on now is like the teams unit, and there was someone who was being extremely resisting, and I didn't have much skill, you know, but then a guy on my unit who's a brown belt comes over and just, all of a sudden his arm is behind his back. I'm like, dude, that's like ninja shit. Like, what is that? You know, I'm like, I have to do that. Like I have to better myself. Like if I can't do what he just did, like I'm a detriment to my unit or guys I work with. Like I need to better myself all the time. And that's how I look at like my career, like justifying my existence within the state police. Like how can I get better? Like can I be a better shooter? Can I be, you know, a better teammate? You know, things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, no.
Very interesting.
It is. There's a lot of things you have to be good at, you know, being in law enforcement. Yeah. You know, staying in shape should be the easy part. You know, and unfortunately enough, like there's guys, and you'll see it on Instagram all the time, where just people just aren't in shape. You know, you're wearing a uniform, it's like, you know, what's going on here, man? It's just, you know, do it for yourself, right?
That's right.
You know, do it for the guy next to you, right? Or do it for the person you're chasing who just hurt someone's family member that you have to, you know, apprehend him, right? So you don't want to be in a situation where you can't get the job done because of a lack of physical ability, or even if, you know, hey, there's my last foot pursuit at Metro South, I lost. So I can't say, you know, you know, like I can't sit here and say like I'm the fastest dude alive, because like I thought I was, but no, there's going to be guys who are
run
fast.
the 5K. You're going to have to find someone else to do the speech
and
next year.
I know
they need to run the 5K.
I do. They break my chops. Like, you don't run uniform. Like I got to organize the event. You know.
Yeah.
But I will one day.
I come off the finish line like sweating like a pig. You're hanging out.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Yeah, I'm relaxing. Maybe the 8th anniversary is coming up for the 5K. Maybe the 10th anniversary. You know, I'll do the speech in my class A's.
Okay.
And feel the pain that everyone's been feeling for the last, you know, 8 to 10 years at that point.
The boardwalk is not kind to our feet.
It's not.
I mean, it's not kind to our feet.
I got to put the soles in there.
Yeah.
But no.
So some of these folks that are listening, right? They go to the gym regularly. And I want to talk about some of your favorite supplements. Okay. I know I have some as well.
Right.
But I'm going to hold back and let you talk first, but I'm a big bucked up guy. I like bucked up.
Bucked up?
Nick's always got it, so that's usually what I order.
Yeah, bucked up, obviously it's a major brand in the industry, right? Their flavor profiles are amazing.
So good.
You know, they just came out with peach rings. Good. Peach rings just came out, which has been a popular
I haven't tried that.
I'll mail you one on me, Tom. We'll send you one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But no, so you know, Valor Supplements and the website valorsupplements.net. We carry all major brands. Things you can find on Amazon, your local supplement shop. We'll have them, obviously just discounted for, you know, this community, your listeners. But to answer your question about supplements that everyone should be taking, like creatine is a 100% thing. Everyone should be taking 5 grams a day from you know, males, females, like just the benefits of overall muscle strength and endurance and recovery, and just the recent studies of like the impact it has on like depression and deterring your mind from like dementia, like brain health, you know, things like that. So creatine, 100%. One thing I take all the time is D3K2.
Okay.
Relatively cheap supplement. It's like $10 or $12. It'll last you 3 months. And basically the idea behind D3K2, it eliminates or prevents your body from plaque buildup. Okay. Right. So your arteries, your blood vessels, your cardiovascular system, right? Your bones, like vitamin D, D3, things like that. Overall mood. You know, like people get seasonal depression in the winter.
They sure do.
And it's from not enough sunlight.
Okay.
You know? So taking vitamin D, absolutely will help those things.
Do you have anything that would replace, like right now I order Alpha Brain from On It Brain.
Right. Yeah.
You probably have something that I could take that would maybe supplement that.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm familiar with their line. There's that's just a line of supplements called nootropics, right? Or Focus. Like L-tyrosine is our huperzine. Those are things that help with focus and just the way you carry yourself throughout the day. Like with overall like cognitive function.
Yeah. I only take like 45 minutes before gym session if I really need it.
Yeah. Like choline, there's
I've got a lot of meetings that day.
Right. Yeah. Most pre-workouts have some kind of like mind muscle connection supplement within there, like an answer all. Like you'll see, typically all pre-workouts have the same ingredient profile, depending on like the stim level and things like that.
Yeah. So I probably don't need to be doing both Alpha Brain and a pre-workout, but I do.
Yeah, space them out maybe. Just see how you do. Sometimes you do a lot of those nootropics. You might have some crash at the end if you're not taking like L-theanine with it. Okay. That usually combats like the crash. That's why you'll see L-theanine in most pre-workouts. Okay. Or just overall like calmness, an L-theanine aspect that has on things. But yeah, but though as far as what everyone should be taking, the creatine, D3K2, obviously 1 gram of protein per body weight. You want to maintain or actually maintain the weight you have or the muscle you have and potentially build muscle. You can always bump that up a little bit. But and
in what order are you taking this? So for example, I know I was always taught I just actually do the creatine monohydrate in my protein shake after the workout. Right. Some people do it differently. Some people take it prior. In what order are you taking these supplements? So
I typically take creatine after I work out. Okay. With my protein or days off, I'll just take it in the morning. Yeah. A lot of pre-workouts have 5 grams in there. So depends on the person too. Some people just like the placebo effect too. Like they want to see creatine with their pre-workout with no caffeine, because sometimes they're combat each other in some studies. But as long as you're taking 5 grams a day, certain time isn't all that important as long as you're getting that 5 grams a day. I think you'll be fine. You'll certainly see the benefits relatively quick.
Yeah, so for me, I definitely, as I mentioned, I'll do Alpha Brain and I'll also do a pre-workout with Bucked Up, right? BAMF usually, and then afterwards I put it all together like you do, creatine monohydrate with the protein, but I also throw greens in as well.
You could do that.
Yeah, I put it all together and shake it up in a little bit of milk, and that's it for me.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of times you do like a berry greens product with like a vanilla protein, then you get what's called like or if you do chocolate protein with like a berry greens, it's almost like a chocolate covered strawberry. Like you could almost like combine the flavors. I tell people sometimes like if they want to mix
stacks. You do stacks.
Yeah, we do stacks all the time.
He sells stacks, everybody. So like you don't have to make these decisions on your own. Like if you're just getting started or you just got to get back in the game, you can order a stack off.
No, a lot of times too, like with stacks, like right now, a big stack for me is NutriBio selling growth peptides with creatine and HMB. Okay. Right. And that stack alone is like $100 on my end. That's why I charge people. But on the website, if you go to NutriBio's website, that stack for just those 2 products alone might cost you close to $150. I think like 140, give or take.
Oh, but, I wasn't even thinking about. Yeah. I throw peptides, peptides in the protein shake at the end too. Yeah. So I'm not even factoring that into cost. You're absolutely right. No.
So even with that deal, the last like 2 or 3 weeks, like I've been giving people an additional tub of protein for $25. So almost like at cost. Like, hey man, get the 2 products. Like I'll make a little bit of money. I won't make anything on this protein, but now you have a better experience with your stack. Like this is going to work for you. That's where the customer service comes in with Valor, right? So like you want 60 servings of creatine, and I spend, let's say it's anywhere between, I don't know, $11 and $18 depending on on the tub size, I'd be like, hey man, the creatine's $15. Like I'll eat money on that just so you get a better stack, a better experience with your supplements. You're not getting held over the coals for money, right? It should be inexpensive. And then now after the month of you working out, you're like, oh my God, I'm actually feeling better, and I'm actually getting protein for a discounted rate. It's a win-win half the time. And all it takes is just, DM me on Instagram. Like I'm on Instagram all the time, just with these stacks, trying to help out people the best I can.
What do you think about the subscriptions that they have on Amazon? I personally want to state that, there's been times where when I was on an Amazon subscription, they'll do a replacement of what your product is supposed to be. And I also, personally would recommend, maybe you don't want to just get the same product every 3 months. Like see how it makes your body feel. Like get yourself into Nick's DMs and see if there's something that he can do for you, rather than just letting that next 3 month subscription hit.
Right. Yeah. So
some people are locked into that, and you want to maybe get out of that monotony.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never actually paid for like subscription supplements or anything like that. I don't offer that on my website because the prices are already discounted enough.
Absolutely.
But the subscriptions are great for companies, right? They lock you in for a certain amount of months, and it comes to your house regardless. So, let's say you have a month where you're not working out, you're injured, and now you have 3 or 4 tubs of the same protein. Like now I gotta shove this stuff, down my throat, since I don't want to waste the money.
Oh yeah. I know I was stuck with one for a while. Everybody knows that feeling. So.
Yeah.
So going back to your career, I can tell you're really passionate about it. What were some rewarding moments in your career as a state trooper?
Right. Well, coming out of the academy, right, you get your first station, and you get put in a role where you do a lot of community policing, general road duty, trooper type stuff, right? Just stopping cars, handling domestic violence incidences, thefts, robberies, being able to recover people's, lost items, sometimes is very rewarding for people.
Absolutely. It's emotional.
It
depending
is.
on what they lost.
Right. Or just even like helping someone in the family, maybe someone is like dealing with like a drug addiction or something like that, where you have to like, talk to that young person and give them some perspective, or give them an avenue for some help, and explain, how things can be better, that the state police is typically, always there for you, or as a trooper, like, hey, these days I work, need someone to talk to, or something to, an avenue to release that you don't need to, do those things. And then
Have you seen the outcome of any of those scenarios? And I only ask because, in this area, we deal with a lot of that.
Right.
So it'd be nice to hear if you're able to see a positive outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Conversation.
Absolutely. So when I was working at Metro South, like I said, it was like basically a plainclothes narcotics unit for the most part. I'd actually, place someone under arrest or locked up or apprehended, the correct term for it, but she was placed under arrest, and I gave her summons, right, which is like a way to, almost like a way like, hey, this is your court date, this is what you've been charged with, and I gave it to her, and the date of the court date was actually her daughter's birthday, right, and she immediately started crying, and she explained that she hadn't seen her daughter in years because of the path she went down, and I said, all right, well, I'll make sure that I'll do everything I can to help you out and get you back on your feet. You have a daughter, and you have some things worth living for. So I remembered that court date, and I knew that this woman wasn't going to be able to go see her daughter. So what I did was I went to Toys R Us, right? I bought some toys. I knocked on that person's door. She wasn't there, but the daughter was there, and the daughter was young. And I said, hey, listen, I ran into your mom recently. She's going through some things, but I think she's gonna be all right. But she wanted you to have these presents, and the girl was overtaken, like, oh my God, my mom still cares about me, even though the girl didn't know I did that, nor did that girl know I was doing that, And then a few years later, I actually wound up seeing her, while I was working.
Yeah.
Actually, with probably less than a few years, probably under a year. And I said, hey, how are you doing? And she's like, I'm doing a lot better. Like, I have a job now. I've been clean for so long. It was a real wake up call for what I went through. And she didn't mention the daughter thing with the presents, which was fine. But it was just something to do, like, for the community, right? Or something for that. Maybe that young person made her feel good that day.
Absolutely.
So
and when dealing with addiction, I think some of the hardest emotions and feelings that you deal with is like the person who is going through that trouble. Like,
Right.
I'm sure, you know, their loved ones want to be around them, and sometimes it's just really hard to see someone you love going through that.
It is.
So that's something that I've dealt with personally. Is, you know, having friends that, you know, I want to be around and want to care for them, but it also kills me to see them.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah,
You know, it's ugly, and the narcotics game is ugly as well. You know, working in inner cities, or, you know, Camden or Millville, and, you know, you walk into a bodega or a store and an 8-year-old kid is trying to sell you dope. It's like, well, who's this guy? Who's the guy that's making you do this? Right? Like, those are that's not good. So justify your existence, or like doing something positive, like, you know, trying to, you know, rid the community of drugs the best we can. Like, you know, it's a small impact, right? Like, you lock someone up on a corner, the next day another guy's out there, like, but you're still doing your best to combat it, you know, because that's what our job is, right? In certain units from the state police. So
well, I'm not sure how you could top that story, but I do want to hear about more rewarding moments in your career. So continue on. I didn't mean
sure. No, that's absolutely fine. No, of course. No, it's important. You got to put the heart behind, like, the badge sometimes, right? We're just people too.
Absolutely.
You know, we have feelings and things like that. But as far as rewarding moments, like right now I'm on the teams unit.
Okay.
Which is basically a full-time SWAT team in New Jersey State Police. We call it TEAMS. It's an acronym for Technical Emergency Emission Specialist.
May I interject?
Sure.
I was shocked, actually, at my first Valor 5K when I saw that, because I had no idea that, you know, state troopers had to do that. I really didn't realize how robust of a program that was.
Right. Yeah. So we have a lot of units in the state police, you know, that are very rewarding. TEAMS is one of them. As far as rewarding moments on that particular unit, you know, sometimes within that unit we're tasked with, you know, underwater search and recovery, that of evidence, and in the unfortunate situations, you know, bodies. You know, people have accidental drownings, right? And unfortunately, some people, you know, jump off bridges and take their own lives, and we're tasked with finding those people underwater, right? And finding someone underwater, and then giving closure to the family. It can be rewarding, you know, as unfortunate as it is, you know, because people always be like, you can't find the body, or they're lost forever. It's
at least
like
the body gives them closure.
They get some closure, right? There's been times with the team's unit, you know, we're tasked with helo operations, or hoisting, right? So during, you know, Hurricane Ida, you know, blink of a hat, you know, the lieutenant calls SFC and says, hey, you two get to the state ramp. You're gonna go hoist today. It's like, okay, like they didn't think I was doing that today.
Yeah.
You know, so me and my squad mate went up to the bird, and guys are stranded on the, you know, STS building in Bridgewater. You know, send a basket down. Dude jumps in. All right, saved. You know, and that's it. So we're doing our thing to help out people. You know, it's exciting. You know, it's better than teaching, in a sense, where it was like the same stuff all day. Like this job, being career law enforcement, you never know what you're gonna have to do at any given time. You know, I've been deployed to Baltimore for the riots. You know, back in like 2015, 2016. I was deployed for about 3 years ago to Puerto Rico to help out with Hurricane Fiona. So 85 troops were sent down there in two waves. You know, just getting to the Puerto Rican community and then helping them out with their needs, which is extremely rewarding to go. You know, you're a trooper, you get on a plane, you go to Puerto Rico,
my
and you help people there.
In San Juan.
Okay, so we landed in San Juan, right? Most of our details when we were there was out in Ponce.
They appreciate when
they love us there.
Mainland.
They really do. They really do. So that was an awesome, rewarding experience to be able to do that. You know, got to meet a lot of new troopers. You know, because
all over the country.
Troopers. Yeah, there's even the Puerto Rican State Police. You know, even troopers in New Jersey. Like, there's so many of us. Like, if you don't get deployed, you might have a 20, 25 year career and never see a guy up in Troop B or Troop A. But now we're all put together and we're tasked with this one mission, and we take care of business like we're tasked to do. So it was awesome. It was great. So.
Can I ask you about? I see that there is a annual cycle ride through DC. Have you ever done that?
I have not, but I think this year I want to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Talk to me about that. What is that?
So again, I haven't done it. I think it's called the Police Unity Tour.
Yep.
Right. I believe they might start in New Jersey, actually. Okay. Right. There's different chapters, like in different states with different agencies.
Okay.
And then they ride for the ones who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. You know, it culminates in DC with a candlelight vigil.
Okay.
It's actually a great event.
I watched.
There's road crews.
It was streamed on Fox Nation.
Right. Yeah. There's trailers. There's guys fixing bikes. You know, and the troopers, they have a good time riding, and I'm sure they have a good time, after they ride, hanging out.
Hey.
You gotta mix it a little bit, but overall, they're riding for the guys who can't. And no, it's a great thing, and they raise money throughout the year. I think these guys are tasked with raising between 25 and 3,000 a year personally.
Yeah.
And that money goes back to that, I believe, that organization.
Okay.
So yeah, it's something I'd like to do. Maybe this year. We'll see. I'm super busy with work and things like that. It's tough to just jump in for 3 days off and do that. But no, it's definitely an awesome opportunity. A lot of people do it, and guys do it one year, like, dude, I'm doing it again next year. Just like the Valor 5K.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that show up to the 5K and like, dude, I'm coming to this race next year. Like, I want to support this race, and that's the race has been built now. We're getting 250, 260 people per year, and the race is established. But yeah, the Uni Tour's pretty interesting.
Train for that. You're gonna have to train for that.
Yeah. We'll see. You can jump on my mountain bike, figure it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna push that one on to you, because now I'm definitely gonna be signed up for. I'll probably have to cover some of that bar tab at the next Valor 5K.
That's it. Hey, the post race celebration is big, right?
It's
like
awesome.
like cops like to have a good time. First of all, they like to have a good time. So I'll put up $1,000 for the bar tab. And it's there until it's gone. And we've had Moritz Embroidery in Pennsylvania, same kind of thing. They're like, hey, I'm going to match your donation next year. So last year we had $2,000 open tab, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're spending $40 on a race, you're getting a T-shirt, that money's going back, and you're having a great time after, right? It's a great team building or community building event, and we keep it going, get it bigger and bigger.
If you don't mind, I'm going to mention what my company was looking to do when we were donating to that,
the
right?
Leap of Mankind.
Yeah,
that one, correct?
And that's a piece of ACV Services Inc.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, how that came about was, I worked in the government, and there's many folks in the government that have served, right? But I've heard many stories of law enforcement, whether state trooper or otherwise, maybe wanting some work after their retirement.
Right.
And I always felt like government contract work would be perfect for them. Right. Because some of the people that I've worked with in government contracting, I really feel as though if they had the same pride about what they did as, say, a state trooper does, that it would help push some of the agenda forward.
Right.
Whether it be, a new system that needs implemented, things of that nature. And so I thought, let me go to this Valor 5K. Let me talk to some state troopers and see if there was anything that I could do to help bolster their resume. Right. That's all I was looking to do.
Right.
And so I bumped into a few actually outside of that event, and pro bono. Like, I just want to spruce up. You're getting out of the service.
Yeah.
You're looking for something to do. Why not be a project manager for the government or a program manager? You're not sure how to put a federal resume together. I'm here. I want to help you. And so I've just been doing it pro bono since.
Right. Yeah. And even like the troopers sometimes they realize it and don't realize it. Like the way our command staff is set up, like our structure within the outfit, the chain of command, the way things are run, right, from from ground up or from top down. Yeah. That overall structure, or how to talk to people, or how to get things done, or delegate assignments to people. You could easily bring those things you learned in your career and mold them into almost anything, right? Any kind of ops plan. Well,
because first and foremost,
can be molded into what your goal is, right?
Because first and foremost, like, regardless of what my position may or may not have been in government, like, I was serving my country, and then I was serving the government contractor I was working for. Right. But I took it as I was serving my country. Like, that's how I was serving my country.
Right.
Helping and I feel as though, state troopers after retirement, or maybe someone is injured and wants to get into that work. That's why I was there. I thought maybe I could help them, because helping them get into that type of a career after they're done being a state trooper would help me serve my country, because I know that they would push the agenda forward.
Yeah. And even to add to that, like, you're giving a trooper or someone that was in the military like a new purpose, right? A lot of people, when they're in state police, we have purpose right now. Like, hey, we're on this unit. We're completing these tasks. Now I retire, and it's like, well, now what am I doing? right? Like, the average life expectancy after a law enforcement career isn't much time, right? And a lot of that's from, maybe like alcoholism or some bad, life habits or whatnot, but a lot of it's purpose, right? If you have purpose to find a new job or a new duty, then yes, we're absolutely doing those things was super helpful to those people. So you're helping out in a lot of different ways you probably didn't even realize, by giving those guys jobs or things to do.
Absolutely.
It is. Yeah. That's honorable for sure.
Thank you.
100%.
And how was the process with applying for you? I know that we've already gone past like the beginning of your career, right, and it wasn't easy to get in,
right? But
just the application process, like how has that changed?
And so the process administratively, like, so there's it could take anywhere between a year to 2 years by the time you submit your initial application, right? And then they go through that, and then like again, each process changes from time to time, but for the most part there'll be a physical test, right? And then you pass the physical test, and you may be selected to get into like the background investigation phase, right? Which is a long process. Then there's psychological phase, right? Make sure you're capable of doing this job. Like they said, it's the psych eval. Now there's an oral interview, and then you get your appointment to the academy, and that's just scratching the surface. Now you have to go, through your 26 weeks of training, do your 3 months as on coach. So you work with like a senior trooper, kind of show you the ropes. And then after 2 to 4 years, depending on the unit that you want to get into, you start applying to that unit, right? So, I've always, when I was on the road, I got into an interest into like, I like the narcotics investigation. So I went to the Metro South unit. I like that. And then I saw the teams guys we'd write the search warrants, and they'd come and they'd make entry on these houses. I'm like, oh dude, I want to do that. Yeah. Right. Like I want to do that. So I've been doing that for the last 7 or 8 years, and that process in itself is very rigorous. There's a physical test, which looks easy on paper, but you have to complete that test. There's an interview phase, and then you get detached to what's called pool week, right? Because one of the most dangerous things we do, believe it or not, is like diving, right? Underwater. Have you? The waterways in New Jersey isn't exactly the Caribbean, right? It's murky, dark, disgusting water half the time, right? So you have to have the ability to not freak out underwater, right? So during those week of pool week, like you'll get tested, and if you don't complete those tasks, then you find somewhere else to go. But the reason why it's so important to get stressed out, underwater, be able to do things, manipulate things with a blackout mask, is because when things go wrong underwater, like you have to keep yourself calm, right? Even just being a trooper in general, like when things are going wrong, like people are looking for you for like advice or what to do. Like you have to keep your composure. You have to be relaxed. And if you don't get that experience in the academy or going through something like teams, you just don't get it. You just don't get those things.
And one of the things you mentioned was looks good on paper, right? And I kind of want to mention, like, for anyone listening that maybe is working on tailoring their resume, whether it be federal or non-federal position. It sounds like, right, Nick, you were interested in narcotics specific,
right?
And so you had to tailor some of maybe not your resume, but your interest towards that,
right?
That you trained in. And so I would say the same thing goes for getting into the federal space or even non-federal. Don't just use AI to tailor your resume. Talk to me. Let's see if we can find out what type of terminology, you need in there so that you can get into the proper role. Like you might not want to be a project manager or a program manager. You may want to do something more specific. I may say, hey, you've got to go get this certification first,
right?
Because I'm not going to lie on your resume. But if you can get the certification,
right,
I can then use some of that terminology and spruce it up so that you actually get looked at.
Right.
Because AI is being used in the hiring process.
It's a lot now,
and so you do have to make sure that you're using the right keywords. And so that's where I started off as a marketing company, but technically, resume writing is a marketing of yourself.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Give us a shout so that we can help you. And nothing's worse than like reading a resume that just sounds like it's directly from AI.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Although, not to jump off Valor or police work, but AI is pretty wild, right? Like ChatGPT, like sometimes I'll go in there and just have it like you write your story or some, like if you want, if your kids isn't doing well, you can put their name in there and be like, write me a story how to overcome a bad day at school, right? And then you read it back to your kids, like, which is there's times for AI, and there's times you try to tell a personal story like we are here today, right? You don't want to use AI for that. Right. Like you'll just know right away. Like Nick, like I know you my whole life. Like you don't know that word. Like you can't can't spell the word.
Exactly.
You just put in your resume.
Exactly.
Like,
and I'm sure who reads those resumes, if you don't mind me asking. I don't need to know their name, but are they someone who would ever fall for an AI written resume? Likely not. Right.
Likely not. And the people like within the state police that are applying for certain positions within the state police, right, based on your state police career. Like the resume is going to basically match up to what you're trying to do, right? So if you want to be in the team's unit, you're going to want to get your scuba certifications prior to pool week. That's that's a prerequisite. You have to have that done. Certain things like if you want to be an academy instructor. So a lot of my classmates are now in the academy and you're teaching the next generation of troops, right? So
a lot of guys I hear love that.
Yeah, they like the academy. It's giving back. Like, hey,
absolutely.
like okay, teach this troop. That might help him down the road. Where most of their real training comes when they get out of the academy. But you're going to take like ITC, like an instructor training course while you're a troop, because that's like a prerequisite to be an academy instructor.
Yeah.
Right. Or just holding yourself accountable throughout your career, like to being in the unit you want to be in. Have some of those experiences, like, right, if you want to go to intel or like computer crimes, like maybe do some investigations like on the road that like pertain to that, so that your resume is like, you're not like trying to find like, oh, I didn't have a job about investigating white collar crime. So come up with some experiences to better yourself, to get an opportunity or the spot that you want to be in.
So what's next on the horizon for you?
Right.
What's in store for us who are big fans of Valor Supplements and the charity side of the Valor 5K?
So basically, the race, we obviously want to get bigger and bigger, every year. I'd love to have 500 people there.
That's what I want to hear.
That would be great.
Let's target that.
Yeah, like next year already, I want to already reroute the parking lot.
Are we getting travelers from South Jersey or people from South Jersey coming up?
We are. We're getting so South Jersey technically is like A troop, Troop A. So we got a lot of troopers from Troop A come down. Troop B is like the northern part of the state. They come down to run. I have great relationship with the New York State Police. Specifically their URTs, or their underwater recovery team. So this year they've already promised me we're going to have New York State troopers run in uniform. And I've been trying to get them down for a couple of years now. So finally, like, we're going to come down and run this year with you.
Perfectly located.
We're right in the middle of the state.
You're right in the middle.
And that time of year, Memorial Day weekend, you're kicking off the summer. I always tell people, like, hey, get a hotel or Airbnb for the weekend. Make it a big weekend. Start your summer off right with doing something honorable.
Bring the whole family. That's what I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And
Bring
people,
the whole family.
Yeah, people like that. So, we're getting more and more.
Should grow it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we're getting
500 people by the 10 year. Or do you think you're going to hit it before?
I mean, I'd love to see 300 this year. That'd be great. We have the fun run. The kids come out and run the mile. That's huge.
That club is great. I actually called them.
Yeah.
There's actually, I think it's called Ocean County
OC Kids.
OC Kids.
Yeah, OC Kids.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, OC Kids is great.
Good operation.
They do. They run a program like within Tom's River, like about perseverance and just overall like character training. My neighbors own that company, and they do a great job. So shout out OC Kids like on Instagram and whatnot, and they push the race great for me. So
they really do.
They do. No, they do a great job. They 100%.
I'd like to see more South Jersey representation.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go with me, just contact me. My information is in the comments below.
Yes.
We'll
set it up. I mean, if you think you can get 40, 50 people on a bus, like we'll set up a Greyhound bus. Like, that's not a problem.
That's probably our best bet, right? We've talked about maybe doing a Valor 5K down here. Mm-hmm. Maybe we want to start with just shipping a big bus load up to you.
Yeah, up to us. Check it out. We'll come up with some kind of promo.
Okay.
We'll get we'll figure something out. We'll get them some extremely discounted protein, or make it worth your while to come on that.
Maybe a hat. I still rock my hat.
We got Valor hats, sometimes when the budget allows. I like to get some shirts and things like that for people. But no, that'd be awesome. Busload of people, or even like a law enforcement agency, that's further away that wants to get a bus together. I'm sure we could work that out to get more and more people at the event.
We have a lot of CrossFit gyms down here.
Yeah.
So I am curious, what's your take on CrossFit? Have you done it? Do you do it regularly? I know you're in jiu-jitsu. I know you're big on bodybuilding, but CrossFit, what's the story for you?
So yeah, I CrossFitted for years.
Really?
I did. Probably about 10 years or so.
You just didn't post about it much. I didn't catch it.
Yeah. I unfortunately during COVID, I threw my back out trying to do like an online WOD competition. Yeah. But no, my garage is set up with I got the assault runner, the air bike, the skier, like you name it, I have it. I was big into CrossFit for a long time. So the academy for me, like the PT and the academy for me, from being a CrossFitter was like the best 2 hours. I would say the best 2 hours. There were times we got our tails kicked in, but it was easy for me. Like I've had my heart rate higher than this training right now, right? Like if you prepare well enough for anything, physically wise, like you should be okay if you prepare the correct way. But yeah, no, I love CrossFit. CrossFit is it's a good combination of being able to sprint, run long distances, and then at the same time being able to do multiple pull-ups, deadlift, heavyweight, Olympic lifting. CrossFit is it's done wonders for a lot of people, and I like the CrossFit community for sure.
I think the CrossFit community would be my best bet to maybe put a group together, right? Because everybody who just goes to the gym, they kind of just tag in on their own time and tag out. But CrossFit is a strong community that I think could help garnish a large enough group to go up there. So,
absolutely.
How about the Murph? Did you do the Murph?
I've done the Murph.
I've done a hybrid Murph. I've done Murph with obstacles. I've done a lot of different types of Murphs in the last few years.
Yeah, I've done the Murph. I've tried doing the Murph the way it's prescribed, which is the mild run with the 20-pound vest with the in order. Technically, the Murph in order is what is it, like 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats. They should be done in that order. Yeah. But like myself, I've done like the 5, 10, 15 for 20 rounds, then jump on, do the run. But then your hands, get the calluses and shop. Hey, it's a great event.
Right? Some people substitute with other things.
Yeah, you do it like with partners, but the Murph is great. The whole Michael Murphy story is great. I'm sure everyone's seen the movie Lone Survivor. That's a huge organization as well. But CrossFit's it kind of stinks. Kind of the gyms have closed down a little bit since COVID. Some things happened with that organization, but CrossFit in general is where to be. Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, I'm super excited we got to talk.
Yeah, it was exciting. It's my first podcast. It was good times.
You're fantastic at it, and we might even see you more in the future.
Sure.
So thank you for coming by, and really appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds good, Tom. Thank you, sir.
Brutally being honest, soon you will see me conquer. No opportunity squandered. Failure's the highest honor.